Hey BBs, what's up homies? I am so glad you're back. Welcome to my channel, Scarlet Talk. If you're new here, welcome. You have missed the previous video, but as promised, I said that I would update on the murder case of Tristyn Bailey regarding her accused murderer, Aiden Fucci. Tristyn Bailey was a 13-year-old girl who was fatally and horrifically stabbed by her 14-year-old schoolmate, Aiden Fucci. It is still not known. I haven't found any evidence or anything that says to the contrary that they might not have known each other or had like any real interactions. We are still waiting for that information to come out. But as of right now, Thursday, May 27, 2021, Aiden Fucci, he has finally and officially been charged with first-degree murder and will be tried as an adult. Because this news just came in, isn't extremely fresh, please bear with me. I will be reading off the information as it just came in.
Now to the case of the 13-year-old cheerleader who investigators say was murdered by a 14-year-old schoolmate. Tristyn Bailey, who you see right here, was stabbed to death, left in the woods on Sunday, according to the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. That was on Mother's Day. Her friend Aiden Fucci is the suspect in this case, and while this investigation continues, a lot of people are demanding more action on the part of the state attorney's office. Jessica Clark joins us live tonight from the St. Johns County Courthouse. Jess?
Well, good evening. Aiden Fucci is indeed being treated as a juvenile in this case for the time being. He's 14 years old, but the state attorney's office here in St. Augustine is getting the message loud and clear that a lot of people want him charged as an adult. The state attorney's office phone is ringing like it rarely has for any other case. People, even teenagers, are calling, asking that 14-year-old Aiden Fucci be charged as an adult in the murder case of 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey. The elected state attorney will be the one who makes the decision whether to charge Fucci as an adult. According to a First Coast News source, the office is getting 10 times more calls about this case than it does for other cases with that specific request. If Fucci is charged as an adult, he would face more severe and longer prison time. His court records would be made public, and he would likely serve time in a different prison facility. An online petition is gaining signatures by the hour. Wednesday afternoon, it had 104,000 signatures. By mid-afternoon Thursday, it had already more than 226,000 signatures. The decision to charge someone as an adult does not happen overnight. In fact, we're hearing that it could take another week or even two before we learn if a decision has been made. Live in St. Augustine, Jessica Clark, First Coast News, on your side.
Thank you, Jessica.
Motions were filed today, May 27, 2021, in Volusia County, Florida District Court. Prosecutors upgraded the charges against Aiden Fucci, charging the 14-year-old boy as an adult with premeditated murder. Now that is huge. Premeditated murder. My mind has been running crazy thinking things like, when did he plan this? Did he plan it for a long time? What drove him to do it? Is there more to the story and or relationship between Tristyn Bailey and Aiden Fucci? There are so many questions that are now added to the already suspenseful case. As I said before, I want my viewers to be proactive true crime viewers. Guys, we need to remember that this is happening literally now. These families are in such a state of shock and grievance. If you have lost someone, then you would understand that pain. Could you imagine having it broadcasted? Could you imagine having people judge your child and their choices? Could you imagine having the whole world judge your choices as a parent? I'm a mom myself. I could not imagine. My little one is going to be 8 in December, and I think to myself, my Lord, how not far off is she from the age that Tristyn Bailey will forever be. Tristyn Bailey will forever be 13. 13. Please let that sink in. Only 13 short years on this earth. Let's not forget what her family, her friends, and her peers, her community said about her. That she was bubbly, that she was a go-getter, she was a leader. She was the type of person that cared and truly cared. Now, of course, let's say that she was a silent person, or she was a person that was not very active or athletic or giving, it would still be a tragedy. But it does help, in my opinion, put characteristics and a person's personality attached to a face. We will see Tristyn Bailey's pictures and her remembrance, I hope, as much as often. But to be fair, Aiden Fucci's face is fixing to be everywhere. Now, as I stated in my video previous, that I was not going to share too much about Aiden Fucci because I didn't want to give the boy any goddamn recognition more than what he was going to get. But with that being said, my viewers have asked for all of the evidence and all of the details. So in this video, I will be putting in clips and pieces, going to put up the picture, the infamous, now infamous, controversial picture that Aiden Fucci posted when he was only being detained in the back of the squad car, where he took the picture and asked that disgusting question. It will be on here. With that being said, let's get further into what happened today in court. Fucci had initially been arrested May 10th and charged with second-degree murder in Bailey's death. The team will now be represented by the Public Defender's Office. Bailey was first reported missing on May 9th of 2021 and found dead later that day in a wooded area of St. John's, Florida. As I said before, this case feels so extremely close to me. Did I know Tristyn Bailey or Aiden Fucci? No, absolutely not. But I was born and raised in that area. So it feels close to home. Not to mention the fact that, as I stated before, my child is not far from these ages. And it is a cold, hard reality that there are so many things that I cannot protect my child from, and how terrifying that must be as parents of both children at this point. St. Johns County Sheriff Rob Hardick was quoted saying that the girl had been stabbed a horrific number of times. He also added that the word accident is nowhere involved in this case. Now, it is being said premeditated. Huge. The state attorney's office also received a petition from change.org, which insisted that Fucci was guilty for the crimes that he had been charged with. More than 700,000 signatures urged the state attorney's office to go ahead and charge Fucci, who, let's be reminded, that was a classmate of Bailey's at Patriot Oaks Academy. They want him charged as an adult, and they got it. Some of the petition had read, Tristyn Bailey was murdered. She was only 13. Her murderer is 14 as being charged with second-degree murder, but he should be tried as an adult. The petition also continued to say he showed no remorse for what he did. He posted on his Snapchat story a picture of him in a police car saying, "Has anyone seen Tristyn lately?" Knowing that he had just murdered her the night before. Tristyn deserves to have justice. The sheriff's office said Fucci's story changed multiple times since the investigation began, but he ultimately made several admissions that were corroborated by surveillance video and other evidence. Hardick goes on to say, "I can just tell you that the man is a cold-blooded killer, and I hate to say man because he's a child, but he committed a man's crime." With that being said, of course, I think he is being held responsible for the crime that he committed. Fucci, of course, has previously been in custody at the Department of Juvenile Justice facility in Daytona Beach since his arrest, but he's going to be rearrested and moved to the jurisdiction of the adult court. The teenager's disappearance, referring to Tristyn Bailey, and relatively quickly confirmed death became a national news story after local media outlets, members of the public, and community organizations organized highly publicized searches at various locations near the Durbin Amenity Center in St. Johns County, Florida, which is where Bailey was last seen alive. The girl's parents reported her missing less than 9 hours after she stopped answering her phone. Authorities joined searches arranged by the community that were already in progress just before 5 p.m. local time. Bailey's lifeless body was found just after 6 p.m. Fucci was all but immediately questioned by police. The interrogation didn't work out too well for him because while sitting in the back of the patrol car, let's not forget, Fucci sent a bizarre Snapchat selfie that appeared to reference and even mock the girl's disappearance. He was arrested and charged the next morning. According to authorities, social media and surveillance footage were the determinative factors leading up to Fucci's initial arrest. Rob Hardick noted, "We were able to obtain numerous search warrants, which led to the location of multiple items of evidentiary value at the suspect's home." That's something that I cannot personally wait to hear a lot more about. Again, the questions are there. No answers yet, but I know that it's coming. I know that our police are doing everything that they can, because everything that I have read and been following on and will continue to follow up on for you guys to keep you informed and to also keep Tristyn Bailey's name in your mouth and on your minds and on your hearts. Again, please let's remember to be proactive true crime watchers. These are real people, real children, real families, real children that are alive and are in a state of grievance. And if you've lost somebody dear and close to you, then you know that kind of pain. But if you've not lost somebody who was taken so soon by murder, this is a death that did not need to happen. It was not an accident. It's literally been deemed premeditated first-degree murder. This 14-year-old boy, Aiden Fucci, the rumors that are stirring around, basically what people say of his reputation is not so good. But even so, you don't, in this great state of America, you're innocent until proven guilty. But when you have the insurmountable evidence as far as his actions, the things that he said, bragged about, apparently substantiary evidence found in the suspect's home. I mean, come on. We're not being quick to judge or just being plain out assholes about some child. In my eyes, he is no longer a child. As it was stated before by Mr. Hardick, he committed a man's crime. I'm not very big on labels, man, woman, but he committed an adult crime, a very much so mature crime. And he absolutely 110% deserves to be tried as an adult for first-degree murder for what he did. He not only took a young lady away from her life and the world and her family, but it sounds to me like Tristyn Bailey was going to do amazing things. If not for the world, but for her community. A real asset to the world. Somebody that was going to do wonderful things. Another big heart in the world. Another person who had a fire and a soul and a passion to grow and learn and educate. And now we will never get to see the great and amazing things that Tristyn would have done. Now we'll never know. Now this family is left with an empty bed, an empty room, an empty heart, an empty place at the table. I'm sorry. It gets me very, very emotional and very upset. I did not know this beautiful girl. But as I said, as a mother and somebody who was born and raised in that community, it hits me so hard. And I am such an activist for doing the right thing and for not being a bully and for shutting your mouth more and opening your ears and your heart and your mind more. I am for less talk, more action, more education. And Bailey was thriving. She was so young and she had her whole life ahead of her. And regardless of what this young man was going through in his life, it has been proven that it was premeditated and that it was horrifically done. There is no excuse to take someone's life unless you are in a fight for your own, unless it is absolutely necessary, and this was not necessary. Tristyn Bailey should be here. She should be with her friends and her family. She should be on her cheer teams because she was involved in too. Let's not forget how athletic and full of spunk and perk that Tristyn was. Let's not forget the beautifulness that was her. Let's not forget her name. Let's not forget this story. I want to fight head on mental health. Mental health is a crisis in this country, this world. We need to be talking about the mental health issues. We need to be bringing awareness to these children that are taking lives of their peers. Was Aiden Fucci ever looked at? Did he ever go to a therapist? Do not tell me that this child did not exhibit some sorts of behaviors, because from the research that I have done and the things that I have heard, he absolutely had behaviors that were very concerning before he took Tristyn's life. With that being said, why, as a school system or as his parents, not get him into some sort of therapy? Are we doing something about the mental health crisis in the elementary schools, in the middle schools? Are we doing things are we really being active? Let's be loud about this tragedy, because it didn't have to happen. These were babies taking lives. One person took another person's life. This was a tragedy that did not have to happen. And I am sorry, not sorry, but in my heart of hearts, I believe not only could this be avoided for the most obvious reasons, but this could have been avoided had Aiden probably received therapy. Real, hard therapy. So I ask you, and I challenge all of you as parents or as teachers, as adults in your community, let's stand up and bring more awareness to children who have mental health issues. Let's pay attention to the signs, damn it. Let's do something about it. I am sick of this way of thinking. They were raised that way. That's their generation. They just don't know any better. You can't change everyone. Don't put your energy into it, Scarlett, because you can't fix everything. I'm done with that. I'm talking about it. I'm blasting it, and we're dealing with it. This does not need to happen anymore. It could have been avoided, and Tristyn Bailey should be here. And quite frankly, Aiden Fucci should have been in therapy, and he probably would not be here. Do I know that? No. But the likelihood of him horrifically stabbing and premeditating this little girl's murder probably wouldn't have happened had he had been in therapy. Parents, adults, teachers, peers, pay attention to your community. Pay attention to the people in your community. Pay attention to the people that are serving in your community. Pay attention. Speak out. Be brave. Stand firm. Be a voice for the ones who don't have one. Be a voice and a shining light and a safe space for children, people who are not in a safe space. Stand up and stand out. Fight today. Do not forget Tristyn Bailey's name. Say her name. Tristyn Bailey. Forever 13.